Ladies and gents, welcome back into another episode of the Insight NFL podcast. And today, the hype is there. I'm feeling good. We're all feeling good. It's the three amigos back together again, and we've got an absolute marathon for you this evening. Kicking off to you first, DFAB. Training camp, you've got the shovel out, mate. You're digging deep with this one. How are you feeling going through all the training camp news?
Mate, as we were saying pre-show, it's actually been a really cool exercise, just making sure we've got all the news and notes for training camp. There's a lot going on. You're right; it's going to be a bit of a marathon tonight, but lots of really relevant information for fantasy, and this really is one for the sickos. I feel like we say it every week, but this is the kind of information that will give you a one-up on the competition. So, some good stuff to go through tonight.
Look, one for the sickos, one for all. That's what we want. We want the sickos. Yeah. Look, we'll take right. Everybody here. We don't discriminate. And throw it over to Mav. We had a few little technical difficulties. So, ladies and gents, if you see his camera flickering in and out, he's still there. He's still alive. Mav, how are you feeling, mate, as we go through this journey together?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. This laptop's fucking on its last legs here, but I'm not. I'm still here. I'm still breathing. For me, training camp is very much like a start of fantasy football for me for the season. You get all the hype videos, you get all the injuries coming through. I'm starting to get sleeper notifications saying that all my players are starting to get injured, which is not a good sign. But it's almost like the starting point of fantasy football for the year. So it always gets me going. But it's been busy, it's been flat out, and there's obviously more to come with the Hall of Fame game on Friday. So a game
Friday
of football
for us, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, it's a bit overwhelming. I know I dropped that out on next with all the news that's been coming in. Look to us as a life raft. We're going to be paddling. We're going to be, swimming as hard as we can and trying to keep this boat afloat throughout this journey. Talking about training camp, there is so much stuff. 32 teams. Just when you think you have a little bit of an idea, you don't. And with training camp, they just blow things up to the absolute extreme. You see one little clip, and you've got all these beat writers just going absolutely bonkers. So yeah, we'll be here to help filter through this journey. But 36 days till NFL start. Yeah, like we were mentioning, Hall of Fame game this Friday. Lions versus Chargers too. So I know I'm excited. Trey Lance has gotten the call up. He'll be starting in that game. So that'll be a good one to watch out. How you guys kind of, when it comes to the Hall of Fame game, and I'll throw to you first, Mav. Is this kind of, I know for me, this is like the start. As soon as the Hall of Fame game's on, we're on, we're fully in. It's time to, just get absolutely ready and rinsed for the upcoming season. What are your thoughts leading into Friday?
Yeah, pretty much the same way. It's just a little bit of a taste to be a teaser. Marion Hampton's already slated to play. Let's see how many snaps he actually gets. I dare say it'll be one drive.
Yeah.
Same with Trey Harris, also meant to be playing as well, but that'll probably be one drive and that'll be one and done. But again, it'll just be a little taste. I think the Lions aren't really going to be playing anyone of note, I believe. But yeah, it's just going to be a nice little teaser coming into fantasy football season. And as I said, mate, the training camp's actually the number one for me, and then it's the Hall of Fame game. So we've already started.
We're deep in the middle of it. DFAB, are you looking forward to a little bit of Isaac Tesla, perhaps, of the Hall of Fame game? Or what are your thoughts?
Man, I'm just like everyone. I'm just excited to see some actual snaps of football. We all know it's going to be basically the third stringers versus the fourth stringers at some point. You might get the tiniest little appetizer of a Marion Hampton for, as Mav said, a drive. There's not going to be much, but just that much is enough to, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's a long off season with the NFL. And we get really excited about training camp. We get excited about OTAs. We get excited about the draft. But realistically, when you see him pull the pads back on, you see that first kickoff, it's like, all right, now footy's back. So it's an exciting time. I'm keen for it. I'm hoping I can find myself some time on Friday to watch it live, but at the very least, I'll be watching it once work wraps up, because it's for how much it lacks in first stringers, it's still football returning. So it's an exciting time for us.
Yeah, the vibes are well and truly there when that Hall of Fame game kicks off, and Just to throw into a little bit different before we go into tonight's show. I mean, DFAB and Mav, I feel a little bit blessed, and hopefully you guys can rub a little bit of luck onto me. Seeing your trades come through in our chat, I mean, you guys are just so blessed, so kissed with these deals coming through. It's got me feeling left out. I just want dynasty trades. I just want to be in those leagues making trades with you guys. I feel like the sad kid sitting alone in the corner in class. So, I mean, with now as well, like, I mean, this timing of the Hall of Fame game, training camp, it feels like everybody's coming out of the shadows. All the casuals for fantasy are coming out.
Yeah.
And they're really starting to get bought in to this season. I mean, when it comes to dynasty, I know we're more on redraft focused this show, but I mean, has it just been going like wildfire in your leagues lately with the season just around the corner?
For me, at least, it hasn't really been going like wildfire. There's definitely been some moves, but I've kind of been the one to stay active. And while people are still getting into it, kind of use it to my advantage. And this is the part of being an astute GM. If you're clued in now, you know what's going on. You can kind of read the tea leaves a little bit. Especially in dynasty leagues, you can make these moves where people don't really know what they're moving yet, and that's on them. All the news is all the information is available to them. You can make these moves where you can see the upside of someone. You can see the benefit in getting X, Y, Z on your squad that maybe some other people don't see, and you can get them for pennies on the dollar. So this is an exciting time of year, especially for dynasty owners. This is when you'd be making your big moves.
And I know moving over to you, Mav, just to grab your little thoughts on this. I mean, it's so good to see, and I know you threw up a post on X about one of your trades. I mean, you're back in the Insight NFL team. You're going after DFAB's Devontae, absolutely extreme love, and you're putting your money where your mouth is. How are you feeling after that Devontae trade, and how have things been ramping up for you heading into it?
Yeah, in that one dynasty league, I did win it last year, so I actually won it from 6th. Believe it or not, it's very rare that sort of stuff
Good
happens.
effort.
But I did win it from 6th. That was the Brian Thomas just beasting like last 3 or 4 weeks of the season. But Dynasty's been popping off in that league. I mean, I did trade for Devontae for a couple of second rounders. I mean, he's 32 years old, so keep that in mind. He's on that decline, unfortunately, but it's a win now move. And then also crunched the deal for Kyler Murray and McBride too. So just sort of been staying active, and I'm pretty stacked, and I should be up there, probably the favourite to win it again. So this time, not from 6, it should be from 1st or 2nd. So different scenario.
I mean, just from hearing that, you're in the right place. I mean, Mav, the proof there is in the pudding. He's winning leagues from 6th. He's dominating these people in his leagues with these Devontae absolute steals. He's shaping himself up for a good season early. That's what you have to do. Like DFAB was mentioning, this is where you can really take advantage of that extra insight and extra work that you've been putting in during the off season. And we're here to help guide you through that process as well. But coming up, I mean, 1st of August is on Friday with that Hall of Fame game, and things are going to be really ramping up here at Insight NFL. Starting from next week, we're going to be dropping multiple shows for the month, and then also throughout the whole NFL season, just trying to get as much out there while we have all this news and, striking while the iron's hot per se at this time of year. With those shows next week, Mock Draft Monday, that's going to be a fun one coming through. We might have a 100%. Little bit of a different league format than what we have been running. That'll be one to watch out for on Monday. And then also one that we are all looking forward to. And shout out to the fantasy footballers on this one. Well, straight up, we're taking inspiration from there. It's a sick episode. The way they do it is just so great. Our My Guys for the season, we're going to be bringing you all 3 each of our top guys that we think are going to absolutely blitz their current ADP. And all in all, to put it simply, are going to be league winners that we're going to be all invested in. I know a couple of my guys, I've been trading like crazy during the off season months ago, trying to get these guys in my squad. So
yeah,
it's definitely one that you don't want to miss. That'll
100%.
be next week as well. So that'll just give you guys a little bit of a taste with how we're going to be ramping things up over the upcoming weeks. And also, if you haven't seen, going to be very, very busy. Very busy. But it's all right.
Busy.
we've got more oars and more life jackets to go around, so nobody is going to be drowning
Exactly.
just yet. And another little bit of a preview of what's going to be dropping. And DFAB, he's actually he's leading the way on this one. Our previews to our top 200 rankings. If you're following DFAB on X and Insta, if you aren't, I don't know what you're doing. Go follow them.
You're lagging. You're slipping.
You're lagging. Our tags are in the comment here. I'll give us a quick little shout out. You can find DFAB at DFAB Insight on both X and Insta. Mav, he's on the X machine at IFS Maverick, and myself at Mullin_FF. And just throwing to you quickly, DFAB, before we start getting into the training camp, because it's going to take us quite some time to get through this list. How are you feeling about your top 24? And when you were going through that process, what was the kind of standout pick where you were like, yeah, I might be a way ahead of consensus on this one, but this is where I'm going to plant my flag?
Yeah. It was fun going through my top 24. And the process in which I did it, which was kind of just ignore every other platform and their consensus, and just kind of essentially I went through a draft from 1 to round 15 and picked the guys in the order in which I thought was best available. So it was a fun draft. Jameer Gibbs has taken a bit of a bump in the last couple of days. The biggest ones in my list in terms of where they sit compared to consensus is, or if I actually have a look at my rankings, the biggest jump is probably Christian McCaffrey. So I've got him 6 spots higher than most consensus rankings have him. I'm really bullish on CMC this year. They've got a lot of injuries in their pass catching room. They've got contract concerns, which we'll touch on later on. But he's healthy for the first time in a few years, and I'm the kind of dude that drafts to win, not to play safe. And if CMC is healthy, he's the kind of dude that should go the 101. He breaks records, so I'm probably more bullish on him than a lot of other platforms, a lot of other sources. But I really back his skill, his talent, and as silly as it sounds, I back his body to get through a full year and really kill it.
Yeah, and it's hard to not agree with CMC. I know for me, fantasy can be a little bit of a gamble sometimes, but if you pay off on those gambles, you could win your leagues by an absolute landslide. And CMC is that ticket. I mean, putting it to you, Mav, if we knew that CMC is going to play 17 healthy games this season, full season, no injuries, where does he finish overall for you?
It's a tough one. It's always hard when they're that old, but as DFAB sort of said before, they are limited in weapons at the moment. So CMC, you'd imagine we get a pretty high workload, but injury risk is always a problem. So if he does play 17 games, you'd probably think his snap percentage will probably stay around the 75% to 80% mark. Which again, if you give him touches, he's going to be producive and productive with the touches that he gets. So if that's 7 catches, or if that's 150 rushing yards with the touches that he gets, and he's gold. So as long as he stays healthy, man, we're in for a big year for CMC yet again.
I mean, hopefully things are lining up to a couple of years ago where he was the number 1 overall skill position player, and he was absolutely just lapping the field. So one to watch out, a very polarizing player, but we'll put that to the side for now. We'll jump in tonight. We are going through so much training camp news and a little bit of a temp check, going through each scenario for each team, all 32 teams across both divisions in the NFL. And we'll throw it over to DFAB to help guide us through this. A little bit crook, and I'm struggling to breathe at the moment. So thank you, DFAB.
You're fighting hard, mate. I'm proud.
We'll go from there.
Look, the way we'll run through it is we're going to go by division. So we'll start with the AFC East, run through the AFC, and then hit through the NFC. There's a good chance that we may skip some smaller news. It's obviously we want to keep it focused on as fantasy relevant as possible. But if there is any, just for the viewers, if there is any specific news that you guys want any clarification on, shoot a message through to any of us on socials, and more than happy to chat about it. Jump in the Patreon, jump in the WhatsApp. We're always happy to be a sounding board. So, look, we'll start off with the Buffalo Bills. So the biggest news kind of hitting at the moment is an injury to Dalton Kincaid, tight end, that I gassed up a couple of weeks ago. Not ideal. He he was initially carted off the field with knee soreness, but participated the next day. It's something to keep an eye on. It's not panic stations by any means, but the fact that he's getting very, very close to that injury prone tag. It's not ideal, especially in that barren landscape of tight end. Dawson Knox probably takes a little bit of a bump, but again, as I said, keep an eye on it. Dalton Kincaid's still the number one at the Bills, and they desperately need someone to kind of ascend as their number one pass catcher. So he's still worth being drafted, in my opinion. That doesn't change for me. It takes a little bit of a drop, but nothing crazy. It might be a couple of spots. He's still high. James Cook holdout is done. He's now holding in. He's holding into a point. He's participating in drills, but there's no contract yet. And he's been quoted as saying, "I deserve what I want." So they're at a bit of an impasse. Obviously, Buffalo reluctant to pay the man. He is he's doing all the right things. He's participating, but obviously wants his money. Mav, I throw to you. What are your thoughts on Buffalo and specifically Dalton Kincaid? Obviously, you don't seem too crash hot on it.
It's such a shame. Every year I come into Dalton Kincaid and think, geez, this is the breakout year that we're going to get out of him. But again, he's just some injury-prone tight end that he's just in that position where he's not a person. So, it is what it is. Let's see how he goes. I still expect him to have quite a large role because they're still crying out for another pass catcher. But outside of that, if James Cook declines, somebody in this offense is going to have to step up, and that might be Phil Shakir. I don't know if he's going to hit 1,000 yards, but it's in the realms of possibilities. And then you got Keon Coleman, who I'm not too big on, but other people are. So, but someone's going to have to step up, and I think it's going to be Shakir if that's the case.
For sure. Damo?
Yeah, I mean, it's not great seeing with Dalton Kincaid. I feel like this year was everything kind of needed to go right for us to still buy in to his future as a fantasy talent. I mean, just his injury. I mean, we'll take these injuries with a grain of salt, even though they were carted off. I know, and we'll probably get down to this later on. But Justin Fields, he was carted off, and it looked absolutely horrid. I remember waking up to that news and just thought the absolute worst. But during this training camp, they're not going to take any risk. They'll cart off people for if they stub their toe or anything like that.
1,000%.
So, yeah, take that with a little bit of grain of salt, but not too great.
Don't want to walk
to
to the
see.
locker room.
Yeah, don't want to look too much. And also
it's hot.
Can't blame them.
I get it too. It's ages away. Have you seen these grounds? Like, they are so far away from the facilities. It's crazy, man. That'd be gas getting back. You see some of these offensive line tacklers and the defensive line. They're big boys, mate. That'd be gas getting back to the showers.
Big meaty boys. You're not wrong. Cool. So moving on, Miami, next team in the AFC East. Not much to report on there. There's a lot of hype building for Jalen Waddle. He's catching everything. He's looking really, really good. That preseason hype, hoping that we get a Jalen Waddle bounce back is starting to really gain some legs. He's looking pretty good. Tua's looking particularly sharp as well through 5 or 6 days at training camp, including pads 11 on 11 work. He's still yet to throw an interception in training camp, which is pretty incredible. That includes some real deep bombs to Tyreek Hill. He's getting everyone involved. He's throwing an HN out of the backfield. Mull, I'll throw to you. Any thoughts on Miami so far?
I mean, just looking at that, I mean, seeing the news here, I've pulled up our Dynasty of Insight League and I'm looking at Mav's team. He's got Jalen Waddle and he's going to get absolutely pestered at this point because I just feel like this is Jalen Waddle's. I mean, we've been so let down the last couple of years with these injuries to not only him, but also to Tua. I mean, if things can just click together, we've seen how good he can be. I mean, in his rookie year, just got this loading. I mean, he finishes the wide receiver 13 in PPR, and then following that up in his sophomore season with the addition of Tyreek Hill, he finishes the wide receiver 8. So, I mean, we know the ceiling is absolutely there. I just hope that all these guys can stay healthy, but it's good signs. Good signs to see.
Beautiful. Mav?
Mate, they're probably one of the closest teams I've been watching in the last sort of week with training camp. They've got so many weapons. We know Miami, when they're fully healthy, they're pretty decent on the field in terms of win-loss record, I suppose. They're not quite fantastic, but they're a playoff team. But for fantasy, they dominate. You got A-Chain, you got Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Tua. Like there's some really good fantasy names there. So the news of Waddle just lighting it up is just music to my ears. Not because I own him in our inside of or Dynasty Insight. It's because he's actually a genuinely good player. Who hasn't really been healthy the last couple of years. So at the moment, he's a bit of a value at his ADP. He's sort of going in like the 6th round. So they're the guys you want to target, ideally. I mean, I've been let down with him for a couple of years in a row now, but I'm sort of back on him again. So if he stays healthy and Tua stays healthy, man, it's going to be an awesome offense. And Tua keeps mentioning Tyreek Hill and how you want it out, and they're still trying to mend that relationship. So I think it's a bit of banter, but deep down, I think Tua actually is getting pretty personal about that one.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Onto the Pats. Drake May looks like that guy. There is a lot of hype building. I know Mull's getting a little bit hot and bothered, even just with the mention of Drake May. Travion Henderson, obviously highly touted running back at the Pats, looked really, really explosive, but everything is still suggesting a timeshare between him and Ramondre. So I think both hold value. Don't completely overlook Ramondre, and don't just assume that Travion's going to get the lion's share. It may look to get towards the back end of the year, but as it stands right now, Ramondre and Travion Henderson still hold standalone value. Probably most encouragingly, though, Diggs is back practicing. He's been completely cleared. He's practicing in full contact. He's not redshirting. And what's most exciting is that there's some very clear chemistry between him and Drake May already. They've linked up on some big passes and have looked the goods. Mav, what are your first thoughts on that? I know we've talked about Drake May quite a bit on the pod so far, mate. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, love it. I love it. Potential breakout year. Still probably crying out for that receiver. Pop Douglas is the one that's really been impressing, and so same with Kyle Williams. I'm not sure about Stephon Diggs at the moment. Yeah, he's there just for an experienced head and to guide the younger receivers off. But it's going to be interesting. Pop Douglas is going really cheap. So is Kyle Williams. And then you got obviously 2 running backs, which is a bit of a committee and probably will be for at least half the year. So really loving what's coming out of the Pats. It's nothing but positivity out of that camp at the moment,
which we love. They probably deserve that. Mull, what are you thinking?
Drake May is my quarterback 7 in my rankings overall for this year. I just had to have a quick look. I've got him well above a lot of people, and I think, he's going to explode. It's all great signs. Travion Henderson, that pass catching upside, and looking at him too, against that Ramondre Stevenson, I'm not really too worried about Ramondre. I think they're just going to use him as a thumper. If he fumbles the ball once early, I think Travion, that's just going to create such a big opening for him to get more of an opportunity. And he doesn't really need many touches either, even if he is splitting. Similar to the Lions backfield in Monty and Jameer Gibbs. Henderson is that explosive pass catching back. And with his elite pass protecting ability as well, he's going to be on the field so much more. So not too concerned about Stevenson, and it's great signs to see with Diggs too. I've bought in on Drake May, hoping that Diggs is going to be ready to go for week 1, and things are pointing in that direction. So New England, they're going to be a scary team. I think this year they're going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I tend to back you. Interesting though, not to completely go against Mav. I really like Diggs this year. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to have a real veteran, solid year. Moving on to the Jets, final team in the AFC East. A little bit of news here. So obviously there was an injury to Justin Fields that Mull referred to earlier. Funnily enough, it was basically a stub toe. He was carted off. He dislocated a non-big toe. Missed 2 days of practice. He's back training with the squad. A little bit of a scare though. Obviously his rushing upside is the big part of what people are attracted to with Justin Fields, but him not being a big toe means he should be able to just. Looks like we may have lost Mav there. More tech difficulties. We've got plenty of time. There's plenty of reasons for optimism with Justin Fields. He has looked very capable so far, which is really exciting. His throwing's been really good. With there's a bit of hype building around Mason Taylor, but specifically with Breece Hall. They've been super run heavy since they've gone 11 on 11. the theme that's been consistent is run heavy. Breece Hall gets a massive, massive boost, especially with Braylon Allen, their second stringer. He's out with knee soreness at the moment. Lots of checkdowns too. So they're clearly scheming Fields with these short, accurate passes that we know he can get the ball into hands of good skill players. So Breece Hall probably has a solid ceiling there. Mull, what are you thinking of the Jets so far? Because I know there's real mixed reviews in the, I guess, industry at the moment.
I mean, looking at the Jets and Mav, you can tell how he's feeling. He's just dipped out before he could even get the chance. So the Justin Fields news, that was so scary. I remember seeing that and I actually prematurely, I think, put that in our WhatsApp group, just updating, there's bad Fields injury, but, probably got the best news out of it, that it was just a dislocated toe, because I think if he goes down, this offense, I don't really want really any pieces of it. I know Garrett Wilson would take a massive hit. But looking at that running game, another guy that I'm high on this year is Breece Hall. And if the news is coming out that they are using him a lot in the receiving game, I mean, Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis, those guys aren't going to compete anywhere close to what Breece Hall can do in that area of the field. So, I mean, wheels up for Breece Hall. This is very happy or very positive to see out of that camp. And also Mason Taylor, it's also another a good positive sign, because like you were mentioning earlier, DFAB, the tight end landscape is just so garbage. I mean, it's gotten better and better over the years, but adding another person in Mason Taylor and a rookie at that, another guy that if you are fading tight ends in your leagues, he could be a guy that you could pick up in the later rounds that will definitely return some good value on investment.
For sure. And on Breece Hall, like the year he finished RB4, he had 76 catches out of the backfield. So like that's where his upside comes. That's why we've been hyping him up so much. So the AFC East actually has a lot of relevancy with fantasy this year, which is kind of exciting. It's been a little bit of a barren landscape for the last few years. Moving on to the AFC North, Baltimore, there's not too much to report. Main thing is the injury to Isaiah Likely. So he's got an ankle injury. They haven't specified what it is. Welcome back, Mav. They haven't specified what it is, haven't given a diagnosis, but they have said that we expect Likely to miss a few weeks. If you're thinking coach speak, at least for me, I'm worried that he's now going to miss all of preseason kind of thing. The fact that they won't say what it is, but they've already said, he's going to miss a couple. I'm a little bit worried, and for obvious reasons, Mark Andrews gets a bump, even though he is basically walking around in a walking frame. Mav, we'll go to you before you drop out again, mate. What are your thoughts on Baltimore at the moment, specifically with Likely?
Mate, I just put it on the injury list just then. I'm back. You'd get a super notification saying that I am now healthy. You're now back on my screen live in context. I'm happy to see it. Likely massive, massive red flag. As you said, it's a bit of an unknown how long it is. They've said several weeks, but how long is several weeks? Is that going to be? Yeah, it's a massive red flag. We don't know. I really like Likely coming into this year. I really did. Now I'm a bit more down. And then Mark Andrews is probably another one that's going to be bumped up just a little bit. For sure. He's now got a clear pathway to being an option, or number one passing option potentially. We'll see what happens. But Likely is now getting real down on my list. Yeah,
Mull.
Yeah, it hurts seeing this one for Likely, because you thought for this year Mark Andrews is kind of on the way out, so it's going to create more of an opportunity for Likely. But looking at this, Mark Andrews, I mean, he's probably going to dominate, I think, in his last year. If Likely missing this time in training camp, it is going to be big, and hopefully this ankle injury doesn't linger. But I mean, I know we're talking about redraft, but this could be a little bit of a dynasty window buying opportunity for Likely, because there was all talks of him getting extended over Mark Andrews this offseason. So take the good with the bad, and find those opportunities where you can in dynasty.
For sure. Cincinnati, again, not much to report at the Bengals, other than that Burrow and the Chase or Higgins stack looks as tasty as ever. All three are making big plays, connection strong as ever. Chase Brown looks the goods. So honestly, boys, I won't even throw to you. Cincinnati all looks the status quo at the moment. Cleveland, the QB battle. there has been 4 names all off season, probably down to 3 at the moment. Mason Rudolph, who was getting the lion's share of the first team snaps, is now injured. So it looks like in order that you've got Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and then Shadur Sanders. Me personally, keep an eye on Sanders. He looks like he's been the standout. If you look through, end of day stats, you look through highlight packages of the little clips and montages, Sanders still looks like he's the best QB on that list. So I drafted him in the rookie draft. I think the talent will outweigh the nonsense off field. Another note is Quinchon Judkins obviously went really high in dynasty drafts, still has not signed. There's very minimal communication with the team. No update on the domestic violence charge that's been, or alleged DV charge. Really, really murky waters for Judkins. And if I'm completely honest, he's off my board until further notice. Mull, what are your thoughts in Cleveland at the moment? Because there is a lot of questions about where things are sitting.
Yeah, I'm with you there on Sanders. I think looking at it to start the season, they're definitely going to roll out there Flacco or Pickett. And it looks like from what I've been seeing, that battle is a little bit close, which is surprising because I thought Pickett was going to be cut before the season even started. So definitely one to watch. And I think with Cleveland, I mean, their team's just going to be a bit of a dumpster fire to start the year. So if they start the year 1-6 or whatnot, I think they'll just throw in Sanders more than likely over Gabriel, the other rookie there, to try and see what he's got. And when it comes to the running back room, it's it's so hard. I mean, there's always value to be had when these situations come up. But I mean, you're looking at Jerome Ford. He's probably the one that I'm probably looking at more than anything, just given that he's established veteran there compared to the other rookie Dylan Sampson that they picked up in the 4th round. But terrible to see with Judkins how there's that situation is still lingering, and hopefully we'll have a bit of more confirmed news on that in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, curious before I flip to you, Maverick, let's say you're making a trade and you offer us like a second or a third. What is he closer, like a future second or a third? What is he closer to in value, Jerome Ford, knowing that he's likely going to be the guy to start the year?
Honestly, I reckon you could probably get him for a Oh, sorry, man. I was saying, I reckon you could probably get him for a third in dynasty teams. I don't think he's really going to cost you that much because, if anything, he's probably going to be a rental for the first 6 weeks, we think. But given with training camps only just started, that could flip. So I wouldn't pay anything more than that.
Yeah, cool, Mav.
Yeah, he still holds minimal value. Sampson's probably the one where you want. In saying that though. Sanders has been touted as a development piece at this point with the Browns. Like, there's nothing really further to that.
Yeah.
That's how they view him. So it looks like it's going to be Flacco's job. And then outside of that, probably Kenny Pickett's a backup, and then Dylan Gabriel or Sanders takes the 3rd team reps. So they're going to take all 4 through. It sounds like that's going to happen. Cedric Tillman's been on and off the injury report too. He's been on and off, training camp. So that's a bit of a concern. And then you got Jerry Jeudy sort of just chilling, going, I'm still here. So, they got an elite defense, but the offense is going to be just turds.
Yeah, I think so too. Something to just bear in mind with Jerome Ford. I know he kind of has no value in the market, but just bear in mind the year that he covered for Nick Chubb, when Nick Chubb went down, he only had 4 touchdowns on the ground and lost like 7 or 8 touchdowns to Kareem Hunt, and still finished as the running back 17, had only 3 scores under 8 half PPR points in the game. So Jerome Ford, although he doesn't have the glitz and glamour, can still be a really, really solid bottom of your starters flex piece if you need. So if you're a win now team, or you're trying to compete, you're looking for that extra piece, if you can flip a third for Jerome Ford, that's a really, really good win. Pittsburgh, final team in the AFC North. Big news out of here is that Caleb Johnson looks like that guy too. Multiple long runs over multiple days, both through between the tackles, through catches in the backfield. Caleb Johnson looks like a real focal point of the offense, which is lucky because Aaron Rodgers has kind of looked shit. It makes sense. He wasn't there for OTAs. He's kind of only just turned up. I'm a little worried for DK Metcalf. It's very murky at wide receiver 2 as well, whether it be Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson. I know they've named Calvin Austin at the moment, but obviously Wilson has some halfway decent, I believe it's day 2 draft capital. So trying to work out which of those could be a lottery ticket as the wide receiver 2, that slot role. It may just be Caleb Johnson that gets those dump offs. We know Rodgers loves a throw to his running back. Boys, I'll open forum it because it's nothing massive. But what are your thoughts specifically on Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, Mav, you start. my thoughts exactly.
Yeah,
my thoughts exactly.
Just dookie.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. I mean, Caleb Johnson, I think that there usually is a bit of question marks, I guess, leading in with rookie running backs. They tend to usually ease their way into NFL maybe by week 4, week 5, or even their team's bye that these running backs get a run. But I think Caleb Johnson, I think he's going to be leading this year right at the gate. I mean, competing with Jalen Warren, he's more of a compliment, more of a change of pace back. And Caleb Johnson, we know how much that Pittsburgh Steelers want to run the ball. And with A-Rod looking terrible, which is no surprise there, I think he's just going to be the feature. And, I mean, he just fits that scheme so well. So, I mean, Caleb Johnson, by draft, get in there quick before his ADP rises.
Mav?
Yeah, I'm with you on Caleb Johnson. They're a run-first offense. It's going to be run-first offense with Arthur Smith as well. They'll probably chuck out Jalen Warren in spurts as well. But, Caleb Johnson should see 15 or north of 15 carries a game. The O-line's pretty good. So, positive. DK Metcalf, he'll carve out something still. I mean, I've been pretty down on him myself, but he's good enough that he'll work something out with Aaron Rodgers, and he'll be at least fantasy relevant for you. It probably could be boom or bust though for him.
Yeah, he'll get targets. Same way that both Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams got. Like, he needs to throw to someone. He'll get targets. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, there's no really anybody else behind that passing attack. I mean, Jonnu Smith, he could see a lion's share and lead this receiving room in targets. You never know with Arthur Smith, but it's going to be a gross passing attack to try and invest in.
100%. I'm going to throw out a hypothetical for you because I'm really, really high on Caleb Johnson. He's one of my big risers in my rankings, which you can see on Patreon after the Hoff game. If you had to give a percentage on the likelihood of Caleb Johnson outperforming Ashton Genty this year, what would the percentage be?
Oh, that's tough.
1%.
Yeah.
You reckon 1%?
Probably that too.
Right.
I'm
right.
There,
so I really reckon it's like 20-25%. I love his role in that offense, and I like Tomlin and the way he goes about it. But as I said, I'm very, very high on him. There's always a couple of rookie running backs that seem to smash it. So I think he's going to be one of them.
If you look over the years of like top rookie running backs that get drafted in the top 10, 15 picks generally, it's a positive outcome in their rookie year where they finish fantasy. It's generally going to be top 10, if not top 5. So one's come to mind is Bijan. Obviously he was probably the average one, but Zeke comes to mind. Saquon obviously was dominant. All these guys that sort of top picks are just they're too good. So Genty he's a 3-down back. It's just the question if they score enough points.
100%.
Yeah.
Onto the AFC. Oh, you go ahead. Go.
Oh no, I just wanted to say when it comes to comparing those two running backs, I think the big difference for me is Ashton Genty. He's going to get so much in that receiving role as well, and Caleb Johnson. There is still some question marks there, and how much he's going to get those high value touches. So, I mean, one to watch. Good question. I mean, it's possible. Me and Mav are on the minority.
We know I'm not shy of hot takes. I love a hot take.
That's for sure.
Moving on to the AFC South. So Houston, again, nothing crazy to report positively, unfortunately. Joe Mixon is still injured, though. He has an ankle injury. It's something that he's carried over from the offseason, and he's now expected to miss the entire preseason. He's currently on the non-football injury list, which is honestly really fucking concerning. Dameon Pierce is on the PUP as well, so Chubb gets a big bump. He's likely the starter coming into week 1 if Joe Mixon can't get right. And even if Joe Mixon can get right, he's pushing, I believe he's going to be 30 by the start of the season. If he's not, he will be very, very quickly. We know the history of running backs coming in to the start of the year without anything through the preseason. Boys, is it panic stations, or am I reading too much into this?
It's panic.
I'll start with you, Mav. Yeah,
it's definitely panic stations. It's alarm bells, everything. It's all going off in my house here. Yeah, big time. Like, look, it's gonna. The problem is, preseason's the best time to try and like get fit, get healthy, learn the schemes,
Yeah.
and just go from there. If you're not playing during preseason and training camp, then you're already like 10 steps behind. So, even Nick Chubb, man, like he's injured too. They reckon at the moment, or banged up. He sort of he came back, wasn't really productive in Cleveland when he returned off that gruesome injury, and then got injured again at the end of last year. So Woody Marks is actually coming through for me as a real sleeper, and he's going to cost you nothing. He's going to cost you literally the last pick of the draft, or even he might be featured in our Uncut Gems podcast that we're going to do in 4 weeks' time. But
Uncut Gems.
He's one that's really like lighting it up for me. Thinking, shit, he's value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, with you there, Mav. Woody Marks. I mean, even just the guy's name. I mean, get Woody in your team. Why not? Doesn't it just sound so appealing? And he will be the pass catching option too. I mean, looking at Nick Chubb, he hasn't really been known for his pass catching chops. And he's getting up there in age. Joe Mixon, 29. I mean, it sucks seeing these aging running backs if they start the training camp season with injuries, and I mean they're not even really giving us any clear timelines. Expected to miss extended time. That's sound the alarms. I mean, Joe Mixon, it's definitely going to be a rough one for him this year, which is a shame because I mean when healthy, he's a top 15 back in points per game for the probably last 4 years. So sad one to see. Get Woody in there.
100%. Moving on, Indianapolis, the Colts. The big query there is the QB battle. Obviously, we've got Daniel Jones and Richardson. Interestingly enough, there's some conflicting reports. So there's some that I know that Mavs highlighted, saying that Richardson is looking like a world beater and he's absolutely smashing it. But a lot of what I've read is that neither one's really separating themselves as the clear QB1, and that there's going to be a real battle, and they're going to take their time in announcing who's going to be their starter week 1. On top of that, some real discouraging news. Michael Pittman is out with a groin at the moment. There's no word on the severity thus far. We don't know how long he's going to be out. Any of the fantasy footballer listeners know with groinindex.com, it doesn't spell well. Those kind of soft tissue injuries, whether it be the groin, hammy, quad, or calf, all those kind of soft tissue injuries on the lower extremities really doesn't bode well, especially for the first half of the year. There is a real kind of catching up period to get back to where they need to be. On the plus side, the benefit is that if he is out long-term, Tyler Warren, their rookie tight end, who I believe was the 14th overall pick, he's looked really, really good, made some tough catches on some really inaccurate passes. They drafted him because he's got a really big catch radius and has really secure hands. So good signs for Tyler Warren. Mull, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the Colts at the moment with all the news that's going on there?
I mean, the quarterback battle is just so gross. I know we were kind of chopping between the offseason, between Jones and Richardson. I was leaning more into maybe Jones is going to get the starting job, but I mean, it just looks like it's really up for grabs. And with the pass catchers in this offense too, I mean, it's not, you don't want to wish for injury, but it might be a good thing, eliminating one of those options, because the target, I guess, pie isn't really going to be there for all three guys. But if it's just Warren, just Josh Downs, they might have some value themselves if Pittman does miss an extended time. I mean, I'm super high on Tyler Warren this year, might I add. And I think even given whatever QB wins the job, I think he's gonna outperform his ADP. They can chuck it to him anyway, chuck him behind the line of scrimmage, get him to run Wildcat, and just take the quarterbacks out of the play completely and just put it into Tyler Warren's head to begin with. So, he's probably the only really one that I'm interested in this offense to go along with a few little sprinkles of Josh Downs.
For sure, Mav.
I'm going to go left field here. I'm not going to mention any of those guys you just mentioned, but DJ Giddens is apparently lighting it up. Lighting it up. So he might be a solid handcuff to an injury-prone Jonathan Taylor. So that's also one to watch.
Yeah,
for sure. If he's got any value at all. But outside of that, boys, I think they need a role with Anthony Richardson as their starting QB on day one, and then go from there. You cannot
Yep.
at any means start Daniel Jones and say he's the future of this franchise. Look, they may be in contention for the pick 1 next year anyway with how they go, but you have to roll with Anthony Richardson on day 1.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Moving on to Jacksonville. Honestly, boys, I probably won't even need to toss to you guys for this one. Travis Hunter is still as murky as ever. He's splitting time between offense and defense pretty much evenly. He's got 11 snaps more so far on defense. He's looked good on both sides of the ball. So if the plan is to legitimately play him both sides of the ball, they're showing that that's what they want to do. He's looked good. In terms of the 3-headed running back battle with Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, and Bashal Tootin, probably the dark horse for most people coming into the year. Tank Bigsby looks like he's going to be the RB1. He looked really, really good at the back end of last year. He showed on field that he was more impactful and more efficient than Travis Etienne, and has really carried that over into the new year. So he's looking really impactful. Something to watch very quickly. There's some hype building for Parker Washington. He's been impressing. In training camp. Liam Cohen has highlighted his work. Now the thing is with him, it's relying on whether or not Travis Hunter plays offense or defense. If he's playing more defense than offense, then Parker Washington has a spot. If he doesn't, probably less so. Moving on to Tennessee, this is really sad. I didn't like this. So big injury to Treylon Burks, fresh off an ACL, comes in and I think it was his first training session, fractured his collarbone, and then just to throw a lot of salt in the wound, Tennessee then subsequently waived him. So he is without a job. Pretty savage for mine. Regarding Cam Ward, the one that actually people want to know about, he's looked pretty average, if I'm honest. He's been really inaccurate. He's got 4 total interceptions, 3 of them to, I believe, Harper, a linebacker. And he's just been kind of telegraphing his throws. He went 6 of 17 in 11-on-11 scrimmage. Just keep an eye on it. If his if his passes don't get more accurate, his pass catches might need to drop a little, but I think it's just a rookie acclimatizing to the pace of the NFL. I'm not too stressed out, you boys.
It's training camp. They're letting it fly, man. They're letting it fly.
Exactly.
I mean, there was one highlight that I saw the other day of Cam Ward throwing across his body to Calvin Ridley. It's an absolute dime. But the problem was there were 3 defenders in his face just waiting for a sack. But he's got the red vest on, so he can't tackle him. So, it's one of those things. But look, highlight real potential, though.
Oh, yeah. 100%. You can see the potential's there. He's got that highlight reel ability, but he's got some. He needs to get some polish from what we've shown so far.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Mull? You're on mute, big fella.
Just a quick mention.
Is this Teams in COVID, mate?
Yeah, mate. Honestly, I've been blowing my nose so much. I'm just muting my mic, so you don't have to.
You're fighting through, mate.
That. But I mean, I just want to give a shout out to the guys that drafted Treylon Burks in the middle of the first round back in 2022. I mean, I was pretty high on him coming out. The Philly Eagles were as well, trading away. They traded that pick for AJ Brown and a couple of other pieces. So seeing how that turned out, I mean, what a shit show it's been for Treylon Burks. Yeah. I mean,
poor guy.
Rest in peace. So, yeah, pull one out for the guys that drafted him back in 2022. But that's all I want to say about the Titans at the moment.
Yeah, completely fair enough. On to my boys in the AFC West, Denver Broncos. Some big news in the last 48 hours. Cortland Sutton has been signed to a 4-year, $92 million extension with 41 of that guaranteed. That, to me, locks him in as the wide receiver 1 on this squad. He's very clearly still Bo Nix's first look. Buy. Do what you can to get him. Don't be worried about age. Don't be worried about anything else. If they've signed him for 4 years with more than half, or literally half of that guaranteed, they've got a lot of faith in him. A bit of hype around Evan Engram as well. He looks really, really good. The biggest weakness in the Broncos offense last year was their inability to really impact through the middle. So it allowed linebackers to just stack the box and the secondary just to worry about the outside. Evan Evan Ingram looks like he's going to really change that. RJ Harvey looks really good as well. And even Pat Bryant, rookie, coming in, he's probably worth a dart throw as well. Mav, I think you're still there. Just no camera.
Lost.
That's all right. What are your thoughts on Denver, mate? Anything that sticks out?
Yeah, not really. It's probably business as usual with Denver. Terry McLaurin sitting there going, "Where's my contract?" But outside of that, it's pretty business as usual. I'm keen to hear some J.K. Dobbins news over the next few days. That's probably the ones that I want to hear.
It's been pretty quiet on the J.K. front.
Yeah, but sort of outside of that, it's not really much to report. I think what we think about Denver is probably gonna happen. So yeah.
Mull?
Yeah, pretty rinse and repeat, I think. Especially for Cortland Sutton. I mean, he's probably going to be the most consistent piece for Bo Nix heading into his sophomore year, and he finishes the wide receiver 15 last year in PPR scoring, and he's got double-digit touchdown upside. I mean, getting this contract just shows how much the Broncos do rate this man, and it's good to see him getting paid because he was pretty big for them last year, and I can't see that changing. And with Evan Ingram mentioning it, for this previous pods, the tight end landscape is grim, but he could be a bit of a shining light this year. I know I've got him fairly high.
Could go top 3.
In that tight end space. Wouldn't surprise me at all. So, I mean, there's not really other key targets behind Sutton. So, it could just be a bit of a two-headed beast in the pass catching front for the Broncos. But, everything's looking good for Denver.
Yeah, for sure. Kansas City, again, not one to really discuss too much. Poor guy. Hollywood Brown injured yet again in yet another preseason. It's a right ankle injury. Worthy and Jalen Royals both get a bump, especially with the Rashee Rice incoming suspension. It's going to come. We all suspect it to be 4 to 6 weeks. I believe it was he pled no contest, or it was a lesser charge than what he was initially charged with. Outside of the pending suspension, Rashee Rice has easily been Mahomes' most targeted pass catcher thus far. Mahomes looks really sharp. Excuse me. He's got a lot of zip on the ball. But in that initial month, like first 6-week block, Worthy probably gets a really big bump for mine.
Yeah, and with Kansas City, not too much for me. I think with this Hollywood Brown injury, it is sad. This man has just been fighting to stay healthy, and he doesn't look like it's going to trend in the right way for him. But with Rashee Rice, that suspension, it's all but looking like it will happen this year. Yeah. I think Travis Kelce is going to have a bit of a swan song, and this could be his final year in the NFL. I think so too. I was going through some stats the other day, and Kelce was the number 1 targeted tight end in the red zone, and he only finished with 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's just not. He's gonna get a bit more luck his way this year, I think, and if he's getting those kind of looks, especially with Rice missing 4 to 5 weeks to begin the year, I think he could be the main beneficiary of that.
Yeah, big time. Mav, anything to add?
There's 2 names that I want to add that is a bit left of center. Jalen Royals, obviously, we mentioned him just before. Getting first team reps, one to watch. Will play in the slot. Looks like he's a pretty good player. If he has any opportunity with Mahomes and gets a connection, then wow. And second of all, Brashad Smith, the running back, the 7th round running back, lighting it up. So if there's any concern there about Pacheco or Kareem Hunt, this guy is like dynamite on the ground, and he's a really good pass catcher as well. So one to watch there. If you got him in the 4th round, I think you're pretty happy with that one. So in rookie draft, so he's definitely one to watch, and I think he'll have some opportunity along the way.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the pass catching. I think he can fall into that Jerick McKinnon passing back role out of the backfield that we know Andy Reid loves.
Oh yeah.
So that could be a real diamond in the rough. That's a good call out. Moving on to the Raiders, and this could be my favorite hype piece so far of the offseason. Dante Thornton. He's like a 6th round rookie. There's some real hype building around Dante Thornton. He's got the prototypical build of a bona fide ex-receiver. Geno seems to like him. There's a very clear connection building. You look through every daily like training camp report, and it's about how there was this really impressive catch, and like there's lots to be really, really optimistic about. And there's a solid chance he's on waivers in some dynasty leagues. So go have a look, because he's definitely worth a look. And outside of that, Ashton Genty looks as advertised. He looks dominant. He's catching balls in pad work too, so it's not just a between the tackles guy. He's getting some catch work. Raiders is pretty straightforward, but yeah, Dante Thornton's the real big shining light for mine. Mull.
Yeah, not much more to add, DFAB. I think, you summed that up pretty perfectly. Put a nice little bow on it with that dynasty call of, scare your waivers if you're in multiple dynasty leagues. If Dante Thornton is sitting on there, just pick him up. I mean, things are lining up. Looks like Jack Besh is more in that Jacoby Myers role, and he's taking a little bit longer to get the ball rolling. So Dante Thornton starting at the gate. It costs you absolutely nothing. Why not?
Yeah. Mav?
Not much more to add on the Raiders, except this isn't Raiders news, but I've just got a notification here that's just come through from ESPN that Isaiah likely has got a fractured foot, and it is possible that he plays week 1. Possible, in quotation marks, is not a good thing. Fractured foot confirmed.
Yeah. We need a breaking news soundbite. I need to get the I need to get the sound bites going. Wow. Well, then what we spoke about before, Mark Andrews obviously gets a bump, and even Zay Flowers, just for those, those short little dinky slant routes and stuff that he loves to make money on. They both get a bump. Moving on to the Chargers. So anyone that's even looked at Sleeper, when they look at the top of the trending list, you will have seen Keandre Lambert-Smith. He's been up there. He's now rostered in 61% of leagues on Sleeper. He has been an early standout in training camp, but he's probably been the big training camp winner so far throughout the entire NFL. There's always a couple, and he's probably the number one spot so far. Mostly training with the twos. Keep an eye on it. Don't get too drawn into the hype, because he hasn't done too much with the ones. Everything that I'm reading still suggests he's going to be behind Trey Harris and all that kind of stuff, but he's definitely a waiver pickup in Dynasty. If you have the opportunity to, if you can weasel out a spot for him on your list, do so. Outside of him, the real established name of Najee Harris, everyone knows that he pulled himself Jason Pierre-Paul and messed up his eye. It wasn't his hand, it was his eye. He's been turning up at training camp for the last 3 or 4 days wearing glasses and hats so no one can see his eye. There's still no timetable for return, but apparently it's all superficial and he's okay. He can see it, just looks all mangled. Boys, what are your thoughts on Lambert-Smith? Mull, well, I'll start with you.
To be quite honest, have been seeing the hype there, but I think that the guy that I'm more attracted to in this offense is Trey Harris. I mean, I've been seeing I'm starting to getting trapped with the training camp highlight videos, and Trey Harris looks so slick. Especially with Mike Williams going down as well. I think he can really take a step up and be their man beater, man coverage beater, might I add, in this offense. So, but I mean, same thing with Dante Thornton. If Lambert-Smith is out there on your waivers, just pick him up. Why not? But I mean, and just crossing with Najee, I think I feel a little bit sick with this one. I mean, at the start of the season, I was really all in on Najee before they drafted Hampton, but I think with this injury and just, I guess, the skepticism that's following it, Hampton, it was so hard for me not put him in my guys list. I think I'm going to be so in on Hampton during redraft. I think he's gonna make waves early on to start the year, and with this Najee injury, he's new to this team. Yeah. He needs that time in training camp to work himself in.
Yeah, Mav.
Najee Harris is a real trade candidate.
You hate Najee
in the NFL,
Harris, man.
No. Hear me out. There's a team right now that needs desperate RB need, and it's not the Chargers. They've got a Marion Hampton. It's the Cowboys, fellas. I can see Najee getting traded there. I can really see it.
Oh,
they don't like Najee. They don't want Najee. They don't win.
I want to see that happen just to watch you melt down. All the last 3-4 years of frustration. You do now. But you do now. I feel like all you've had is frustration at Najee Harris the last few years. I don't mind that fit.
It
I don't
actually
mind
be
that
nice,
fit.
but it'd be a bell count back there. But anyway, he's doing his individual drills. He's not really doing any team drills or any sort of 11 on 11 practice or 7 on 7 practice or anything like that. He's just doing individual drills. They say he's okay, but whatever.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of Dallas, they're the first team in the NFC East for us to touch on, and look, they very clearly need some running back help because the air raid offense looks like it's a thing once again. For me, CD's taken a bit of a bump, and I was really hard pressed not to include him in my top 5. I think he's got a legitimate chance to be the overall wide receiver 1 this year with how that all looks. Dak's looking really accurate once again and actually looking a little bit athletic. He's had a couple of scrambles where he's looked like he's still got some pace. Could be a bit of a sleeper for a later QB pickup in drafts this year. Could be one to, if you go for CD early, that could be the stack to target. Again, shout out to the fantasy footballers, heard it on a pod. Might have been earlier this week or late last week. In games that Dak has played in full, the Dak CD stack averages the same amount of points per game as the Jamar Joe Burrow stack, which is insane to me because that feels like a superpower, the Burrow Chase stack, and it's just not talked about in the same way. So the hype coming out of Dallas camp at the moment really fits in well with what you want from fantasy. Mav, as the man with the worst hat in this YouTube video at the moment, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys coming in, mate? How are you feeling?
Well, I mean, the Cowboys' offensive line is going to be very shaky, and then they just lost Ty Guyton, the left tackle. He's going to be out for about 6 or so weeks. It was lucky enough to be an ACL. That was been the whole year. So, Dak's going to be under a lot of pressure with this new offensive line. Obviously, no Zach Martin. So, let's see how that goes. But all in all, no running backs. The defense is crap. It just screams, a lot of air volume, and that's going to be from Dak to CD or Dak to Pickens or Dak to Ferguson. So I think all 3 options are pretty solid for fantasy. I think they're going to be playing behind a lot too. So, they'll still be a solid team. They'll still be like a 7 or 8 win team, but competitive. There's still enough players there to make it somewhat competitive, but record wise, it won't be great. But fantasy wise, we love what they can show. So
correct.
Really big on any Cowboys player that's not a running back in this draft.
Yeah, Mav, I just to lead on what you said there, mate. I love that final take. This team is just shaping up to be one of the greatest fantasy teams for us this year with producers. I mean, CD, he's, I'm not on DFAB side. He's my 3rd overall ranked player. I'm so high on CD and very contingent on Dak playing. And I mean, if he's looking good, I've been watching a couple of other vids of him playing golf. He's not looking good at golf, but we know what he can do with the pigskin in his hand. So I mean, I want pretty much all pieces of this passing attack for Dallas. And I mean, with that Tyler Guyton news, that left tackle going down, Javonte Williams dump offs. I mean, we've seen what he can do in the receiving game. That opportunity and volume is going to be there. I mean, it's going to be gross, but I don't mind Javonte leading into this year. I think he's going to be the
Bruce
clear guy,
Vaughn.
so. Gross.
Gross.
The deuce is loose.
I'll stop that right now. I got half of one to mute you after that. Next couple of teams we're gonna blitz through. So there's probably not much to talk about. More so just some information to touch on. We'll start with Philly. Literally nothing to report. Status quo. Everyone looks like they're relatively healthy. Touch wood. They're just on their way to try to defend their title. The Giants, the big key there is the injury to Malik Neighbors. When I say injury, it's not like panic stations. To my understanding, he's still training. He left practice early after injuring shoulder, but he just came down hard on it. As far as I'm aware, there's no scans. There's no worries about it. He's also nursing a toe, which I believe he nursed for a little bit throughout last year. He's going to need surgery at some point, was the quote. So just wanted to keep an eye on. Malik Neighbors probably takes a little bit of a dip, but nothing crazy. It's just something to keep an eye on. Regarding QBs, Jackson Dart is improving with every day that passes, but Russ still looks like he's the QB1 for the time being. They're going to stick with the vet and give Jackson Dart the time to really try to progress and develop and get better and get rid of those rookie mistakes. And then lastly, the running back battle at the Giants. It looks like there's going to be a committee approach incoming. At the moment, Tyrone Tracy, who was a bit of a darling for some owners last year, three-way. A menage a trois of pain, as Cotton McKnight had so famously coined in dodgeball. Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary are splitting first 10 reps at the moment. And then Cam Scatterbo looks super explosive, but he's just getting the catching work out of the backfield. So, it kind of ugly. Nothing super thrilling to talk about with the Giants. Just some stuff to take note of. But the key stuff I do want to talk about in the NFC East is at Washington, specifically Terry McLaurin. So we all know Terry McLaurin. He won people leagues last year. He started off as the wide receiver 34, I believe, going into the draft, and ended up as a bona fide top 12. He's still holding in. So he's doing the right things. He's at the facility. He's on the PUP with an ankle injury. But they're kind of no closer to getting the contract that he wants. How concerned are we, boys? I know we've talked about this same situation with some other players already. Mull, how concerned are you with Terry McLaurin?
I mean, Terry McLaurin, it sucks to see, that holdout drama as well, him waiting on a contract. Yeah. Apparently news came out, he wants, with that Sutton contract coming out, he wants that DK Metcalf money. He wants, 150 mil over 5 years or whatever. So he's probably, shooting a little bit too high over the stars on that one. Yeah. But I think if McLaurin, if he doesn't start the year and, healthy or, misses time, I'm going to move down Jaden Daniels in my quarterback ranks. I think he'll probably drop down from 3 for me, because I think without Terry, that pass catching room looks gross. I mean, Debo would be the number one option, the ghosts of Zach Ertz, and maybe Jalen Lane, and a little sprinkle of Luke McCaffrey. So it's not looking too hot on that. And we know that if the offense kind of comes down in the passing attack, that running attack is also going to take a bit of a hit with those goal line opportunities decreasing. So not great for Washington. Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Keep an eye on Michael Gallup. He's kind of finally healthy again, and it's disgusting, but they need to throw to someone. They're throwing Debo around everywhere. They've had him in the slot, they've had him in the backfield, they're trying him out as a kick returner. They're very clearly trying to get the ball in his hands because they know they need skill position guys to have a crack in. But at least Michael Gallup is a proven guy. Like, they've got KJ Osborne, who's there as a field stretcher. Luke McCaffrey might be worth it, maybe. But the fact that we're throwing out these names is just disgusting. It wouldn't surprise me to see a real vet contract go towards like an Amari Cooper or someone like that. Someone that's
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen. Someone that's just kind of floating around in free agency. Just get one of those vets on a minimum deal and get someone to throw to. But yeah, the Terry McLaurin thing worries me.
Scary Terry is not injured. He's money hurt. That's what he is. He's money hurt.
Yeah, PUP with a sore wallet.
Yeah,
100%. 100%.
Correct. So I don't know what fun and games he's playing, but he ain't hurt.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a bit of gamesmanship. Moving on to the NFC North, Chicago. I know there's a lot of hype about Chicago at the moment. Everyone's thinking they're going to be the most improved team in the NFL. A little bit of a worry. Caleb Johnson's kind of struggled a bit. Again, probably in the same lane as some other rookies that we've talked about. There's been some pre-snap penalties, some fumbled snaps, some issues getting out of the huddle. It feels like it's Ben Johnson's playbook being a little bit more complicated than what Caleb's been used to in the past, which makes sense. Ben Johnson's probably he's arguably the most brilliant offensive mind that we have in the league at the moment. So it makes sense. There's some teething issues. Always seems to happen when you get a little bit more professional in these teams that were previously kind of shitty. And after last year, Caleb Williams getting sacked more than any QB in history, I believe it was. It's going to happen. So again, just keep your finger to the pulse, just see how that pans out. It doesn't look particularly outstanding at the moment, but we're also not even at the Hoff game, so they'll come good. In regards to the backfield, my boy Roschon Johnson, that I've been banging the table for a long time now, quote unquote, turning heads in a big way, which is really, really exciting. There's some cool videos of him kind of getting stuffed past the line. They've got defenders in the backfield, and somehow he spins out, hits a hard left juke and breaks away for a 25+ yard run. So he's looking super, super explosive. Kyle Monagai as well looks really dynamic. So it looks like they're going to be able to lean on the run and have a bit of fun between those two and DeAndre Swift. Only other thing to mention there is Colson Loveland. He's back practicing, as is Luther Burden. Luther Burden, from what I read, conflicting reports, but saw he got chewed out a little bit by Ben Johnson for kind of looking pretty average, not really doing his thing. But Colson Loveland is back practicing and looks hyper athletic. Mull, thoughts on Chicago as a whole so far, mate?
Not too concerned on Caleb Williams at this point. I think that taking the reins of that new offense under Ben Johnson, I mean, compared to just absolute scrap he was dealt with last year under Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus, it will take some time adjusting, but I think he's got the best people around him to kind of take that. So it might start a little bit slow. One thing that I touching on with Tyler Warren earlier, I think Colson Loveland, these rookie tight ends that were drafted in the top 15 picks of this year's NFL draft, I think they're both going to produce some really good value for this upcoming season. Besides that, last thing before throwing it over to Mav, Rome Odunze. I mean, Ben Johnson, I saw a clip recently. He was praising Odunze and saying that he's the prototypical ex-receiver, super high on Odunze. And I know a lot of people last year, they kind of drafted him just hoping that year 2 is where he's going to take off. So fingers crossed that things keep pointing in the right direction for him and he can provide the goods.
Mav?
Not much else to really add for me, except the fact that I cannot trust Caleb Williams when he wears that fucking nail polish. That's probably the one for me that really stands out. I cannot trust a guy that wears nail polish.
Hey, it's 2025, my guy. If he wants to wear nail polish.
Yeah, it's a men's game, my friend. It's a men's game.
That's all right. I'm gonna get you on draft day.
Nah, but outside of that, I mean, Dunze was complaining that he won't be able to learn the whole Ben Johnson playbook in year 1. I don't know how extensive that playbook is. In fact, if you can't learn it all in 1 year, but Jesus, that offense could be quite scary if that's the case. That playbook is deep and 45 pages long or something like that. It's impressive, but it's one of those things. I'm pretty high on the Bears offense and optimistic they can bounce back. Ben Johnson's already come out and said, Caleb Williams is pretty much going for his rookie year. Pretty much a shot at the post coaches that he's had, but outside of that, it's looking pretty good. I've seen some good plays in training camp and some near on mates as well. I saw the passing interference in training camp, which is pretty wild, but just airing it out and letting these guys run.
Yeah, you mentioned the rookie year thing. The Caleb Williams kind of second year, rookie year feels a little bit like Trevor Lawrence after Urban Meyer left. It feels like that you just take that first year, put a strike through it, it's a write-off, and let's start now. So, hopefully the learning curve isn't too crazy. Caleb Williams he's clearly talented, so we hope he gets there. Moving on to Detroit, boys, it's pretty status quo. The biggest thing that I've found at Detroit is a bit of hype surrounding Jahmyr Gibbs. A lot of people talking about him having the chance at finishing as the running back 101 overall. The one thing that works really well for him with Ben Johnson leaving is that in the past, David Montgomery's always been the first running back on field with the first team starters. This year it's Gibbs. So it looks like with this regime change, they might be a little bit more all in on going to Jahmyr Gibbs, knowing how dynamic and explosive he is as a playmaker, trying to give him more opportunities to break away, which is obviously exciting for fantasy. It might be a little bit worrying for Montgomery owners, but for Jahmyr Gibbs, that definitely bodes well for his overall ceiling. Moving on to the Packers. Nothing too crazy here as well. There's an injury to Marshawn Lloyd second year running back, was injured, I believe, most of last year as well. He's coming in this year and now has an injured groin. He's not going to miss significant time, but he's obviously a pretty important he's definitely part of the plans in the running back room behind Josh Jacobs at Green Bay. The one I'm a little bit worried about is Dontavion Wicks, who has a calf injury. He's been really prominent so far in training camp. He's getting a lot of looks from Jordan Love. There looks to be a real solid connection there. But with him out, Matthew Golden, rookie coming in, he looks really good. And I think now he's doing his best to claim that number one wide receiver spot and take that lion's share. Mav, we'll start with you, mate. What are you thinking so far regarding the Packers? Because it feels a little bit middling at the moment. There's nothing super crazy coming out from their camp.
Haven't seen much about the Packers, to be honest, and I want to hear more about Matthew Golden. That's probably the one that I want to be seeing more.
Yeah,
but
same.
It feels as though it's going to be another Josh Jacobs year of just dominance on the ground. It feels like that's going to be the case. Outside of that, pass catches, there's this Golden, and then there's just a bunch of, I don't know,
wide receiver threes, really.
yeah. Like there's just not much there. Like Reed's fine, Dobbs is okay, but none of these guys are going to be able to take it. They're going to take the whole full workload. So if anyone's going to be able to do it, it could be Matthew Golden. But I want to see more before I really sort of ride that wave.
100%, Damo.
Yeah, some big question marks in this pass catching room here for Green Bay, and that's probably where you're going to get some really good value. If you get lucky on a couple of these picks, I'm taking sprinkles with Jaden Reed, a little bit of Matthew Golden. The one pass catcher that I'm probably more optimistic on and is going to be consistent throughout the year is probably Tucker Kraft. Again, that tight end range is pretty gross, but Tucker Kraft, I think he's got double-digit touchdown upside, and he could be that number one target when all things are said and done with all their meddling wide receivers. So he's probably going to be the main guy for me in this pass catching room.
Big time. Last team in the NFC North is the Minnesota Vikings, and I know something that made a lot of people kind of panic is the news that came through of Justin Jefferson with a hamstring. He's gone for an MRI. It's been described, quote unquote, as a very mild strain, and the expectation is that he will be 100% before week 1, but they'll hold him out till then. So they're exercising caution. They know how important he is. So the Vikings don't seem to be concerned. Regarding the wide receiver 2 at Minnesota, Jordan Addison, his case is done. He submitted a no contest plea to a lesser DUI charge. Again, similar to Rashid Rice, he's still subject to NFL discipline. The expectation is there'll be a 4 to 6 week suspension. From what I can tell, there's some contention as to whether or not that happens this year. It may get pushed to next year, but typically when these things are rectified prior to preseason games taking place, it does get done in year. So expect that if you draft Addison, you will have a month or so without him. In terms of blokes that are actually on the park at the moment, there is a running back battle between Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. Obviously, there's lots of hype around Jordan Mason coming in. That's looking closer to a 50-50 split right now. Mason obviously being that bigger back, more explosive between the tackles, and Aaron Jones being more that like maybe pass catching, kind of bounce around the outside. They are somewhat complementary in terms of their running styles, but Mason is really doing his best to take the lion's share there. Mull, obviously first on Justin Jefferson, but then the running back battle. What are your thoughts there, mate?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about Justin Jefferson. And looking as the Vikings, they're going to take so much time when it comes to their golden boy here. So
yeah,
I could see reports they're not looking to even think about playing him in preseason games, which they probably won't anyway, but they're going to really take their time, especially with these hamstring strains we have seen during training camp. They can tend to linger if they're not knocked on the head right at the gate. So they'll definitely take their time. And in I guess with the running backs, the other fantasy area of note, I think both of these guys can probably produce for us in ways that will probably outproduce their current ADPs. I mean, Aaron Jones is a back end or probably early running back 3 in terms of rankings, and Jordan Mason is probably 10 spots behind him. So Aaron Jones, he's definitely going to see a line share of that receiving work. And with Jefferson, that kind of injury lingering, Addison missing 4 to 6 weeks, we usually see when the receivers get depleted that more passing volume goes towards his running backs, and that's where Aaron Jones is going to eat over Jordan Mason. So yeah, some good value to be had.
For sure. Mav, what are your thoughts, mate?
Well, I mean, Justin Jefferson's always got it's a bit of a concern, a hammy in pre-season or training camp. It was the opposite leg to what he did a couple of years ago. So,
Yep.
okay, cool. But yeah, one to watch. It is one to watch,
Yep.
with especially the rookie QB too. It is one to watch. The run game's going to be interesting as well. I mean, 50-50 split, but who gets the goal line carries? That's the guy that I want on my team. Whoever gets the goal line carries, I think that's going to be Aaron Jones. But we'll know in the next couple of weeks who that actually is. But I believe that'll be Aaron Jones. He's very good in the red zone.
Yep. Very quickly, boys. One word answer. If you had to have either Jones or Mason this year, who are you taking? Mull.
Jones.
Mav?
Yeah, Jones. Yeah, Jones.
And on brand, I am Mason, 100%. To everyone watching, guys, we're on the home stretch here. We've got 8 teams to go and a couple of them with pretty much nothing to talk about. So we're nearly there. NFC South, we'll start with the Atlanta Falcons. So biggest concern there is the injury to Darnell Mooney. Their wide receiver 2 last year, super impactful for fantasy, has a shoulder injury and is expected to miss several weeks. This news broke on Friday last week, and they have since signed DJ Chark, a previous day 2 pick in the league. I believe it's his 4th team. The fact that they've then gone out and signed a wide receiver pretty much straight away really worries me for Darnell Mooney. Obviously something to keep an eye on, but the fact that he's touted to miss several weeks, the way he plays as well, getting those, kind of in and under routes through the center where he does get lit up quite a bit. Hopefully they exercise caution, but for fantasy, that means he's probably going to be irrelevant for the first quarter of the year. So he definitely takes a dip in my rankings, and probably safe to assume that with Mull and Mav, they'll probably do the same. Nothing else to report from Atlanta, though.
I've got to chime in here, DFAB.
Oh, please do.
Sorry, I just had to say, as soon as I saw that Darnell Mooney injury, it's gross. So many managers. I have to say it, man. I have to. It's there. I'm looking at his face right now on the screen. Kyle Pitts, baby. I'm back in. We're there. We're here. Let's go. Let's get it. It's Kyle Pitts season. I think things are lining back up.
I wanted to.
We've been let down for the last few years after, his stunning rookie season. He did set some records, being the first rookie for 40 odd years or whatnot, getting that 1,000-yard mark. But oh man, I'm in. I'm actually so in. Michael Penix loves him. That's enough for me. That's enough for me.
Prepare for disappointment.
I really wanted to get out of here without gassing up Pitts, because we're going to have everyone that's listening to us thinking we know what we're talking about, and now you're gassing up Pitts, and they're like, oh, no, these guys are idiots. They got no idea what they're talking about.
Drake London is in for a large target share. Like, we're talking like 25% to 30%. Like, it's going to be insane. Yeah, man.
Well, it was basically already there when Penix took the job over anyway. He had 8 targets, 13 targets, 18 targets in week 18 last year against Carolina. So
it's going to be
mental. It's exciting if you're a London owner. I've been trying to get London, and I got the message back. Unless you're willing to drastically overpay, you're not getting in before week 1. So I think people know how good he's going to be. Moving on to Carolina, arguably the grossest sleeper blast I've had all off season. Hunter Renfrow is looking okay. The accountant is back on an NFL field. He was talked out of retirement by his college coach and has looked at quote unquote his route running best. Honestly, that's pretty middling, nothing news. TEMP McMillan has been the real standout. TEMP McMillan has looked outstanding. All 6'5" of him has been top tier. Actually, Xavier Legette and Adam Thielen have also looked really good too. The coach, his name's escaping me at the moment. My apologies. I really should know this. Has said it. There you go. Thank you. He's loving the fact that he's got a basketball team to throw to. They're so big. They're such a physically imposing wide receiver room. The shortest is Hunter Renfrow, who's like 5'10". But outside of that, I believe, is it Jalen Coker? He's 6'1", is their shortest. Yep. Like they're a bunch of monsters, and they've got pace too. So they're like, Bryce Young's got some fun to have. They could be a real dark horse receiving call for fantasy this year, I think. there's definitely some potential there, and their defense isn't anything to really write home about. So they're going to have to throw. They need to keep the ball moving. They've got to try to keep the chains moving to keep in games. So, they could be some guys to have. But yeah, I'd be making sure Ted McMillan is drafted in every single redraft league, every single one. He's going to be fun. Anything to add, Mull?
Agreed. Agreed, mate. Yeah, not too much to add here, except with the exciting Whites narrative last year with Cooper DeJean and the other bloke that I'm thinking on the Eagles. I mean, Hunter Renfrow, I think he's going to join that exciting White category this year. He could surprise us now. But all honesty, Leggett could be a little bit sneaky. I mean,
yeah, I think so.
He could not produce as the number one option on this team. So I mean, if Tech can kind of fill those shoes and let Leggett kind of play second fiddle, I think he's going to surprise us this year.
It feels like he's built as a wide receiver too, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Mav?
I haven't got much. There hasn't been much news out of the Panthers camp outside of Ted McMillan, really. So, business as usual for Chuba Hubbard should be featured a lot in that offense. And then outside of that, it really seems like Ted McMillan's going to be peppered a lot. So, yeah. Look, he's going in 6th, 7th rounds at the moment, and that's good value.
Yeah. Joshy Strange, couldn't agree with you more, mate. I can't believe we're talking about Renfrow in 2025. It's just it's ridiculous.
Well,
but the way the accountant goes, mate, he the accountant wants to get paid, and I'm sure he's going to be relevant somehow. He's going to win some weeks. Watch him be relevant in finals somehow.
Stop it.
Moving on to the Saints. Literally nothing but a barren wasteland to report there. The QB battle, which no one wants to actually talk about. At the moment, you've got Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, and Jake Hayner all cracking in, and it seems like it's Tyler Shuck day 1, Spencer Rattler day 2, Jake Hayner day 3, and then it flips back to Tyler Shuck, and they're just going through between the first team, the second team, the third team. They have no idea what the hell they're doing. They're just waiting for someone to be better than the rest, and none of them are. So I'm staying away for so many reasons from every single pass catcher at the Saints. Kamara maybe has some standalone value. Kendre Miller probably has some standalone value as well as a handcuff, knowing that Kamara's old and he's going to get lit up because it's going to stack the box against him for when he goes down. But yeah, nothing special at the Saints. Last team in the NFC South is the Tampa Bay Bucks. Kind of a love child for anyone that loves offense. They are great fun to watch as just a flat out football team, but they're looking to be one of the, if not the most exciting fantasy team this year, I think. Offensive unit looks super potent. Baker looks sharp. Their wide receiver room is stacked. Obviously the concern there is Chris Godwin. He's still working his way back after that dislocated ankle in week 7 last week. He's had to have a second ankle surgery in the offseason. He's currently on the PUP. There's no indication he's going to be back by week 1. On the plus side, Emeka Egbuka was drafted in the first round, and he looks like an absolute gun. I think the reason why he was drafted, other than the fact that he's hyper talented, is Godwin looks like they don't know if he's going to get back. But Egbuka looks awesome. He's connecting frequently with Baker. He looks super good in the short and intermediate, which is where Godwin always kind of made his money, leaving Mike Evans to still dominate on the outside. And then obviously we've got the Bucky Irving masterclass that we're all expecting this year. Mull, I'll start with you, mate. What are your thoughts on the Bucks? Because obviously there's a lot to love about the Bucks this year.
So much to love about the Bucks, and it was a little bit scary. Their main tackle, I think it was Christian Wirfs. He went on the pup. He'll be out for the first 4 weeks of the season, they think. But hopefully Baker can stay upright until then. But I mean, Emeka Egbuka currently being drafted as the wide receiver 45 is criminal. I think that is just so crazy. That ADP is just going to rise and rise as we get closer to season start. I mean, I'm going to have him everywhere, I think. And looking at the running back room, Bucky Irving, the back end of last year when they gave him the keys to the kingdom, he was so dominant. Super clucky for Bucky and Emeka Egbuka in this offense.
Clucky for Bucky is outstanding. Mav, are you clucky for Bucky, mate? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I am. But the problem is, you're drafting his absolute highest point at the moment. That's
Yeah.
ceiling.
You are.
So,
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
you are.
yeah, it's a bit hard. It's a bit hard, but he'll probably produce, and that's fine. One to watch
Yeah.
probably if you believe that K Dalton's a tight end one. He's just done his hammy, and always been. It's a mild hamstring strain, so one to watch there. He could
Yeah.
be a low end tight end one, or depending on status of Godwin, but he should be featured a lot more in the offense. He took a step forward last year, and looks like he might do it again this year.
Yeah, for sure. Final division, NFC West. Not much to really talk about at Arizona, so I won't flip to you guys on this one unless there's anything that's super pressing that you think of. Trey McBride looks dominant once again. He has a bona fide chance at cracking in at the tight end one. Marvin Harrison, which I believe it was Mav posted on X about throughout the week. He's getting more and more plays called for him. He's put on some weight to try to be a little bit more impactful in those one-on-one matchups. He's looking really good. And then lastly, I believe it was Emery Emarcado used to be the red zone back for the Cards, and I know there was a bit of groundswell hoping that it would be Connor or Benson kind of get it. DJ Dallas is getting the red zone work with the first team, so it looks like the Cards are going to stick with that, which still, it just caps their ceiling that little bit. Trey Benson does look like he's poised to make a jump, though. I know that I was on him really early last year. It kind of still looks like he's the top option, but Benson's going to be worked in a lot more than he was last year. Damo, I will flip to you, mate. What are your thoughts specifically on Marvin Harrison, mate?
Oh man, I will actually take the credit. I was the one who threw that one up on X. I think it's just. I think he's going to be probably the biggest post-hype sleeper. We want him so high in his rookie year, probably too high. He was going as dynasty wide receiver 4, I think, overall, and in redraft leagues, back end of the second round as like the wide receiver 9 or 10, which is just the highest ever that a rookie has been drafted in redraft. And he was targeted nearly double the amount of times that Trey McBride was in the end zone. And any wide receiver that has an opportunity to be the number 1 option on their team, and also with double-digit touchdown upside, he did finish with 8 last year. Yeah, I'm so in on Marvin Harrison, and I think he's definitely going to outproduce his ADP.
Awesome, Mav.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. He's becoming a lot more confident, is the words from Kyle's mouth. That's a direct quote. And expected to make a jump is also what he said too.
Yeah.
So hopefully that means not downfield for go routes all day, instead of just short to intermediate routes, and then get him hot first before he starts throwing it deep every time. So hopefully that's what he means by make a jump.
Hopefully. We'll flip over to the Rams here, LA Rams. A little bit of a cause for concern. The man's already ancient, but Matt Stafford is currently dealing with back soreness, and he's being held out from this week of camp. Expected to be absolutely ready for week 1. The quote from his head coach, oh my God, I've been talking too much because my brain is cooked. McVay, there we go. McVay said he's going to absolutely be ready for week 1, and it sounds like he's going to be on a snap count. And have like his own little training program between now and the end of the year, which honestly at 35, 36, 37, however old he is, makes sense. So a little bit of a concern, but not too worried. Just keep your finger to the pulse and see how that progresses. Kyron Williams, there's still no news on his requested contract extension. Unlike the discussions surrounding some other contracts that we've mentioned, the verbiage with Kyron is that it's positive and that there's good intentions from both sides. So the vibe is good. There's no reports to say they're any closer to a deal, but all the verbiage is right to suggest that they both want to be. They both want to come together. They're just kind of dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So Kyron, you still expect to be a bell cow this year. Keep an eye on Blake Corum on the off chance it doesn't work. But Kyron should be fine. It looks to be a really big value in the second round of drafts at the moment. And then lastly, a bit of a hype building around Jordan Whittington, 6'1", I believe, second or third year wide receiver. He's building a really strong case for that wide receiver 3 role over a Tutu Atwell. In addition, probably my favorite quote from the offseason so far is last year's Defensive Rook of the Year, Jared Verse, referred to Nakua as a psychopath after pulling in 9 catches from 11 targets, and they just could do nothing about it. Boys, I know that the Rams have always had that reputation. Yeah, he's a psychopath. I know that the Rams have always had that look of being, ever since the Todd Gurley days, of being a fantasy superpower. Mav, what are your thoughts with, let's be honest, a couple of question marks, especially with the QB and the running back? Are you going mild on them at all, or are you still all in on Rams?
I mean, Stafford's had a back injury for 10 years now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he's old. But I know he's probably one hit away from real deep problems if he bucks that back up anymore. Yeah. But he's had back problems for 10 years. It's week to week. They're just holding him out just to make sure he's healthy. He's old. He's nearly retirement village worthy. So we know he can support two wide receivers. Jarquez Hunter is another one out there that's been getting some first team reps with the team. Obviously, Kyron Williams is active at practice, but obviously still trying to get that contract. But he is one to watch. I don't know if he's going to be the number 2, but if anything happens to Kyron Williams, Jarquez Hunter might be the guy who steps up. But we'll soon see. For sure, Mull.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a little bit concerned about Stafford just purely because their second option is Jimmy Garoppolo. And if Stafford, if he's not ready to go week 1, I mean, I think I'm probably not the only person worried about that. I mean, Devontae Adams, we saw him in that wide receiver Netflix documentary when he did have Garoppolo. I mean, Devontae was absolutely just cutting shapes, getting so wide open. But the gap between him and the defender was not as large as the gap between Garoppolo missing Devontae Adams when he was that wide open. Yeah. So, I mean, if Stafford's not there, if there is that injury concern, it is a little bit worrying. It is still very early on in the piece for anything to kind of have too much of an impact. But I mean, if Stafford goes down for an extended period of time, or this shakes out to be a bigger deal than what we think it is, it's going to be very, very scary. Very scary.
I'm going to have nightmares tonight now. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Enjoy.
I've been so high on DA, and if Garoppolo's the QB, I'm going to cry myself to sleep every night. Two teams. We're going to go to Seattle first because I want to finish on a nice note. Seattle, there's some good signs early with their rookies, Torrey Horton and Arroyo. Probably worth some dart throws, especially Arroyo. He looks capable, and again, we know tight ends are a pretty barren landscape. The big questions though that people have coming in are regarding running backs and the wide receivers at Seattle. Ken Walker looks healthy. Charbonnet looks healthy. That'll probably be less of a 1A, 1B, and more Ken will do his thing until he inevitably gets hurt, and then Charbonnet will come in, and then he will do his thing, and then Ken will come back and keep doing the toss and turn there. Regarding the wide receivers, though, JSN and Cup, there's been, again, not to use the same thing I said before, but there's been a bit of a groundswell building, almost fading JSN, saying that he's going to go to the outside, and 70% of his production so far has been from the slot, and that's going to be where Cup's going to go, and JSN, he's going to lose his, why would they do that? Because Cup can't do it. They've been splitting time between the slot and the outside so far in training camp, both Cup and JSN. So they look like they're both going to be utilized at both levels. They're going to be used in the short, they're going to be used in the long, and really try to exploit matchups. Both have shown ability at both levels so far this camp. So that's really encouraging for me as someone that, honestly, I did just trade him away, but someone that has had and been really invested in Cooper Kupp. I don't think he's done the way people are writing him off. Mav, JSN, Cup, where do you sit on that competition at the moment? Do you think they've both got value? Do you think that neither of them do? Where's your head sit, mate?
Look, if you're picking one, it's obviously going to be JSN. I don't really like the landscape of the offense at the moment in Seattle. It's probably going to be a run-first offense. The offensive line's just okay. So, I would take JSN over Cooper Kupp. I mean, Cooper Kupp's always injured these days, so it's really hard to put any faith into that guy moving forward in fantasy football. Unfortunately, he's been a great player for so long, but that may have ended. But the guy who I want to mention is Elijah Arroyo. Apparently, he's been training the house down, catching everything. They've got him and AJ Barn on the roster. They're going to be playing a lot of 2 tight end sets. AJ Barn is a blocking tight end, so that's fine. And Elijah Arroyo is not a blocking tight end; he's a receiving tight end. So Some possible value there. He might be a tight end 2 option to start the year, but let's see how he goes. There's just high wraps in him at this point, so we'll see how he starts.
Beautiful. And Mull.
Yeah, I agree with Mav. I think Arroyo could be sneaky. And, if we kind of think, I know I'm on the side of Cup, he just looked so beaten down at the back end of last year and he clearly missed a step. So I think, Arroyo, he could be the sneaky second target option later on at some point in the season. So, yeah, kind of a little bit of hesitancy there in the passing attack. But, I mean, when it comes to Seattle and pieces that I want to be invested in, it's Kenneth Walker all day long. I think these guys are just going to run the ball so much. New offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, has been just drumming the beat so hard for Kenneth Walker every chance that he can get. So, I mean, health permitting, similar to the guy that we're going to be talking in the last team tonight. But, I mean, health permitting, Kenneth Walker hit 17 games. I think he's got top 5 running back upside if he plays all 17. So, I'm so invested in Ken Walker for 2025.
Hell yeah, man. And I agree, especially with Ken Walker. Like, anyone that's either tried to trade for him or has drafted him in the past, like, that the knocks on him aren't production. It's just ability to stay on the park. Yeah. He only played 11 games last year, but in the games he had as many games over 20 than he did under 10. So he's quite dominant when he's out there. He's a big piece of their offense. It's just a matter of whether or not he can stay healthy. So we hope he can. Final team, and kudos to everyone that stuck around. San Francisco 49ers. Now, it does start a little bit negative. So Ayuk has a knee injury and there's still no timetable for return. So obviously concerns there. Juwan Jennings has requested a new deal. There's concerns he's going to be making a trade request if he doesn't get the deal that he wants, and now has a calf injury as well. The positive for him is that he's looked like the number one when in practice. He's looked super dynamic. He's done everything he could on the pitch to promote getting the deal that he wants. But yeah, he's injured at the moment. The saving grace is that Ricky Pearsall is now back off the pup. So I believe he had a correct me if I'm wrong, it's either a hamstring or a calf.
Hamstring, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Hamstring, through OTAs, and he's now back off the pup practicing and looks quite good. The big positive, though, and I said I wanted to end on a positive, 2 of the most dominant players in fantasy over the last 5 years in George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey are both healthy and ready to go. There's no injury designations. There's no snap counts. They are going at full gas. And for me, as someone that just enjoys looking at big scores, I'm thrilled. Kittle looks to be an absolute boom, especially in the first month of the year while these wide receivers are out. And like I said before, at the top of the show, CNC is the kind of dude that could shock everyone and make everyone regret not taking him at the 101, and he could win multiple people championships from the middle of the first round. Mull, obviously a mixed bag at San Fran. Where's your head sit with where they're at the moment coming into the week 1 of the preseason?
I mean, looking at the wide receiving room, I'm not too concerned about the Juwan requesting a new deal. I think he's just kind of playing his cards at the moment. He's got a good opportunity just to try and test the waters with how, I guess, depleted their wide receivers are looking at the moment. Honestly, both Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings, I'm taking my shots on both those guys. They're going so late. I mean, wide receiver 35 to 40, they're both kind of in that range. I mean, they're probably both going to outproduce that if they are healthy. And I mean, oh man, Kittle just gets so slept on year in, year out. I think
he does
with those injuries. Like, he's just, I don't know why we're doing it. He could very well and truly end up with 10 touchdowns this year and be that focal point in that passing attack. Like, and he's just a beast. I mean, just watching him play, like listening to his when he's mic'd up, he's just a cool guy.
He's such a cool dude, man. Yeah, he's such a cool dude.
He wants to hurt people too when he blocks. He's just a Viking descent. Just so hard not to get around George Kittle. And I mean, the cream of the crop. I mean, the guy that could make or break so many teams this year, Christian McCaffrey. I'm on the side where I'm taking him where I can. I'm not gonna be scared if it happens. So be it. Maybe it's worth to handcuff with Isaac Guerrero. He's probably the only one that I'm looking to do that this year when it comes to running backs. But I mean, and San Fran, their schedule is so soft too. They've got the number one.
So good, isn't it?
easier schedule for the year. So I mean, there's going to be so much value, to be had, and buy in to the 49ers.
100%. Mav, final thoughts from you there, mate, on San Fran?
Yeah, let's just hold up on San Fran a little bit. I know Mull was just talking about Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall out producing their ADPs, which is probably a chance. But the problem is if you've got Kittle performing, you got CMC performing, you can't have 4 options really performing, and you got Ayuk coming back halfway through the year as well. So, it's a bit of a concern. So, Ricky Pearsall probably is the one that sort of screams value. Juwan Jennings, I put on socials throughout during the week, and he's an option there as well. But he's got a calf injury now and looking for a new contract. So one to watch for Juwan Jennings. But outside of that, let's hope CMC stays healthy. Kittle's probably the number 1 option on this team through the air.
Yeah,
and
I think so too.
Let's go.
100%. Wheels up. Ladies and gents, that's the training camp news done. As Mull mentioned, it's a bit of a for now. There'll be more, and keep an eye on socials. But as Mull said, that's a bit of a marathon. I'm sure you're sick of hearing my voice, so Mull, I'll flick to you to wrap this one up, big boy.
Yeah, thanks heaps everybody for tuning in and sticking with us on our first edition of Training Camp News. We're going to be here back next week, Monday, mock draft Monday. Get keen. It's always a pick-me-up on a Monday when you've got a mock draft to do. So stick around for that one. And also our My Guys episode will be dropping later on next week too. So, I mean, for DFAB, Mav, myself here at the Insight NFL team, we'll see you guys all Monday.
Keep an eye on socials.